for playoff position, even though they have clinched a postseason berth. The Cyclones.
Presented by Parkview Sports Medicine and airing exclusively on MyTV Fort Wayne.
It'll be Michael Tam and William Lacasse. And up front, it will be the Komets checking line tonight. Brett Perlini, J.M. Risk, and Kaylee Schrock. For Cincinnati, Rob Medor between the pipes. On defense, Josh McFadden and David McDonald. And up front, a very talented line. Recently acquired Jack Combs, David Pecan, and Jack Downing. We are set for action. The puck is dropped, and we are underway. Komets control the opening face-off and dump it deep into the Cincinnati zone.
Got an icing right off the bat.
Apparently Lacasse dumped it in a stride too quickly, so an icing right off the hop in the opening 5 seconds. Our referee tonight is Stefan Renault, and the linesman Jesse Plesch and Dan Cohen.
It's going to be interesting to see how this works, Kent, because the Komets have really not been able to do a consistent checking line all year, and they're trying to build one, I think, for the playoffs, to get ready for the playoffs.
Well, right off the draw, it went to Combs, who snapped one right off the chest to Pat Nagle. Now the K's look for the breakout, and up ahead it goes to the captain, Kaylee Schrock. Schrock trying to weave along the boards. J.M. Risk has it. Tries to cycle it behind the net. Perlini has. Now it's poked away. And the Cyclones, wearing some interesting gray uniforms with black trim, try to break out. They can't. Intercepted by Perlini. Poked off his stick by McDonald. Komets with a good forecheck here in the opening 40 seconds. Risk tries to siphon the puck away from McFadden. The K's, all sorts of pressure in the Cincinnati zone. That just slides by the pipe. And now looking for the breakout. Here comes Cincinnati. Drew Daniels steps into his man, Combs, as the Cyclones go for a line change. We played a minute. Now Joey Leach goes along the boards up ahead to Mike Embach. Cross ice it goes to Szydlowski. Szydlowski tries to weave through the slot, has it poked away. Leach steps into it, a bad angle drive, tip, save. Embach could not convert the rebound. Good quick save by Medor as the Komets with an early scoring opportunity. Now Cincinnati looks to break it out, but it neutralized. Drew Daniels snaps it back in. And now Szydlowski back to Daniels, comes across to Leach. Leach doing a little stick handling.
Nice move.
Faille just dumps it in the corner along the boards where Embach feeds it ahead to Daniels, who had pinched in. Daniels comes across to Leach. He'll have an open drive, and it's right on and gloved by Medor. Good job by the Komets, Blake, to cycle the puck.
Yeah, he thought Leach might have taken it a stride or two in there, give the guys a chance to get in front, maybe to deflect or distract the goalie, but he let loose.
We are just underway here at the U.S. Bank Arena. A great crowd on hand. And again, Komet Hockey is brought to you by Parkview Sports Medicine. Matt Lowry in for the face-off. He's got Christian Ouellette on his left, Matthew Pistilli on his right. Ouellette tries to feed it right through the slot, but no to Pistilli. And here come the Cyclones the other way. They pinch along the board. Cincinnati looks to center, and that time fanned on by Joe Basaraba. Into the corner, Cody Saul with the joust. Now Lowry goes in deep. Pistilli looks to break it out and feeds ahead. Here come the Komets. Ouellette just fires it into the corner where Pistilli centers, and it goes through the goal mouth. Now the Komets have really kept the puck largely in the Cincinnati end here in the early going.
Really using their speed well.
Relative newcomer to the Cyclones, Mackenzie Weegar, fed it to center ice. Komets going for a line change.
Oh.
Now Cincinnati, as that time Basaraba blows a tire and the puck goes on goal. Nagle will just cover it up.
Play was actually offsides with no call.
17:21 to go in the opening period. Right now, Cincinnati on the outside looking in. The top 4 teams in each division qualify for the playoffs. And then the first 2 rounds are within each division. Pecan on the draw, but it's sifted away that time by Risk. Komets look for the quick breakout. Michael Tam comes up the middle, goes off the stick of Risk, and now here comes Cincinnati trying to dump it in. Lacasse, a good job to rub his man off the plate. Pecan steps into Risk. Now along the wall, Cincinnati trying to put some pressure on. Pecan again using the body as he steps into risk again. Cincinnati looking to center. There's a shot from a bad angle that goes off the side of the net. Now the Komets having a little difficulty clearing their end. All sorts of pressure by the Cyclones, but the K's look to break it out. Schrock does get it ahead.
Play.
Dumped in by Brett Perlini. Up high it comes on the wing. Left up the middle, Pecan will feather the pass ahead that time, and right on as Nagle has to come out and play it. That was David McDonald breaking up the slot. Big check delivered that time by Leach. Puck is flipped into the air. Szydlowski chips it ahead, and it's a little deep. Embach on the race, hounding the defender, Josh McFadden. They come from behind the net. Faille's always got something going. There he is again. We've got Faille and Embach all over the puck, and of course Embach loves to bite the hand that once fed him. He is a former Cyclone, and that was played with a high stick.
Fans, now's your chance to lock in your same-grade seats for every home game of the Kelly Cup playoffs.
Mike's usually good for about a goal a game down here, and then he talks as if he scored 3. He loves beating the Cyclones.
If anybody thinks that these players don't remember, and even though Embach was not acquired by the Komets from Cincinnati, he enjoyed his time in Cincinnati, and he was kind of sour about the trade being dealt away. And you're right, anytime he gets a chance, and that time Tam stepped into Brandon Grissel, and that brought some of the Cyclones off the bench. They didn't like that hit. That whistles wide of the net. Tipped back to the point. Faille tries to dump it deeply, but can't quite get it in there. And now near the top of the circle, just served towards center ice. Grissel trying to weave around Tam. Looks for the centering pass. Vijay not home at that point. Dumps it behind the net. Grissel tries to sidestep Faille. Faille is a very good defensive player in addition to his offensive prowess. A shot goes off a skate and just dribbles past the crease. And that is flipped high to center ice. And are they going to call that an icing? No, a good call by the linesman because the puck landed right at the feet of the Cyclone defender. Now to center, and that time the fans were looking for a penalty, but player just lost the edge. Now Cody Saul snaps it ahead to Pastilli. Little backhand pass through the middle. And that goes between the legs of James Martin, and the race is on. Cody Saul turning on the Jets. Little backhander along the high wall. Willette leaves for James Martin. Up ahead it goes to Lowry. Lowry is stepped into. Looks like the Cyclones are trying to step up the body pressure. Christian Manella, who was listed as the 10th forward tonight, delivering a couple of hits. That goes high, and actually too high, into the netting. So the face-off will be in the neutral zone. Well, considering the Komets have spent an awful lot of time on the bus, Blake, pretty good spring in their step here in the opening 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, I've seen some really nice plays by the defensemen around the Fort Wayne goal. You've seen guys like Will LaClasse and Michael Tam get their sticks involved and deflect passes away that could have been dangerous.
Ahead it comes to Pecan. Pecan wheels in his own zone. Drops it back for David McDonald. Now they look to fire it ahead. It ends up on goal. Nagle will wrap it off the backboards. And the Komets looking for the good breakout. Risk comes to Perlini, who just chips it in. C.J. Severin is also trying to apply some pressure. Perlini comes up with it. Now Perlini back to the point. Leach will just dump it back deeply, and there's Severin setting up shot behind the net. Severin, who has really played well since coming off of some knee surgery, in front. That goes off the stick of Risk. Now Severin again tries to intercept. He has the puck, leaves it back. Big drive by Daniels. Blocker save, rebound, and Perlini can't tuck it in.
Very nice save by Medor.
Now David McDonald bangs it off the boards, and that will go into the Komet zone, and they're going to call an icing. Now that's the best scoring opportunity of the game so far.
Komets have had really good luck keeping a third forward high in the offensive zone, and he's been able to intercept a bunch of outlet passes so far. We'll see if the Cyclones adjust to that.
Cincinnati controls behind its own net.
Another interception possibility.
Winds up in the Komet zone. And how about that pass from Nagle? Nagle moves up ahead. Big drive by Szydlowski, steered aside with the blocker of Medor. That was a great play by Nagle. to set up a scoring chance. Back the other way, the Cyclones. There's a drive. Stick save that time by Nagle, and the Cyclones could not convert the opportunity, as that time it was Gracel trying to get a stick on the rebound.
Faille did a nice job knocking him off the puck.
Puck goes back into the Cincinnati end, and again, no icing on this one. Embach with a forecheck. Bumps the defender Wysopal off the play. Now back to neutral ice. Lacasse comes cross to Tam. Tam will ring it around the boards. And Cincinnati again looking to break out, but there always seems to be a Komet jersey on a Cyclones jersey. Nagle leaves as both teams go for fresh forces. Martin comes across the Soul, plays it off the boards. Hustling in to get into the play is Nick Heward. He's a relative newcomer to the Cyclones. Now back to Martin. Martin comes back to Cody Saul. 12:16 to go, opening period. Fast pace. Behind the net, Medor will leave. Szydlowski steps heavily that time into Mackenzie Weegar.
It's pretty obvious the Komets think they can take advantage of the Cyclones' defense.
A 2-on-1. It hits the goalpost. No, they're saying it went in. A pass goes across to Basaraba. It looked to me like it hit the goalpost, but it must have rung underneath the elbow and come around underneath the netting. I'm not sure the Komets agree with that call, Blake.
No, they don't. They're up on the bench protesting. But the referee was in pretty good position to see it.
It comes at the 8-minute mark. Well, it was a result of a 2-on-1. Cross-ice pass to Basaraba.
Can't tell on the replay.
Boy, still not sure at all.
Oh, I tell you, that's hard to say. It looked like post to post.
Yep. Well, the Komets lost in controversial fashion last night. When they thought the winning goal was kicked in for Basaraba, that'll be goal number 11. Well, I initially thought it hit both pipes. Maybe the elbow on the one side came down off the other pipe. So for Basaraba, his 11th of the season, 1-0 Cincinnati at the 8-minute mark. Heward gets an assist. And Weegar picks up the second helper. So Basaraba from Heward and Weegar at the 8-minute mark, 1-0 Cincinnati.
What was interesting, though, on that goal, Kent, Pat Nagle never flinched. He never protested. He just was calm, and I think he knew it was in.
Well, could be.
And he would know.
We've got a timeout here at US Bank Arena, 11:24 to go in the opening period. It's 1-0 Cincinnati.
On MyTV Fort Wayne, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine.
Well, back at US Bank Arena, Kent Horman, Blake Sebring, and we've talked to about anybody who has an opinion. We've seen a number of replays. We just briefly chatted with the Cincinnati radio play-by-play guy. Nobody is really sure if that puck was in, but the bottom line is it was ruled in.
Doesn't matter now.
And I'll tell you what, Blake, it was a tremendous shot. One way or another, it was a great shot. Basaraba on the finish, and that goal has made it 1-0 Cincinnati with 11 minutes to go. There's a shot that time by Tam that does not get through. Faille looks for the interception. Bumped into briefly by Szydlowski as they scrum along the boards in front of the Cincinnati bench. Embach tries to get it to Szydlowski. Now Szydlowski weaves at center, dances through some Cyclones defenders, gets it across to Faille, backhand pass. That time it goes off of Wysopal. Now they dig behind the net. Faille so strong on his skates. Out to Szydlowski, comes up, one-timer that deflects wide, and Medor has to spring out and grab the puck. It had a very anxious bounce off the backboards.
I'll tell you what, Cincinnati's doing a great job of keeping 4 and 5 guys deep on Szydlowski, Faille, and Embach. So that's going to leave the points open if they can get it up there and get them in good shooting position. Like Joey Leach that time went to the center of the ice. They're going to have some opportunities there, some real good opportunities.
The Parkview Sports Medicine provides performance and fitness training, advanced rehabilitation services, and nutrition consultations to sports enthusiasts at all levels. Learn more by calling Parkview Sports Medicine 266-4007. Controlled behind the net by Garen Noonan. Now here come the Cyclones looking for a breakout. Intercepted. Severin, a drive, and oh, that just whistled wide as he put it on Pastilli's stick. And now back the other way. Martin will regroup. Good pressure on him behind the net as that time Nick Heward. But Martin is a very strong defenseman. That skirts past Noonan. Matt Lowry has really been stepping up his play.
He's just a son of a gun to play against.
Yeah, he always finishes his checks. He loves playing the body. There's Lowry trying to poke it away. Turn back toward the Komet zone where Soul circles. Little backhand pass goes across to Martin, wraps it off the boards, and that was a sharp pass. Couldn't be contained that time by Pistilli. Now Perlini applying some pressure on David McDonald, who surveys the landscape behind his net. 9.5 minutes to go in a very fast-paced first period.
He's got nowhere to go with it.
Up the middle, and that time Risk tips it away. Racing in is Pecan. Pecan trying to outduel Drew Daniels, but he's had a fantastic year, and now Schrock tries to get it out of the zone. Coming away with it is J.M. Risk. Now Risk kind of feathers it behind the net. Schrock was there for a moment. Now Schrock still trying to come away with the puck. He was battling McFadden. Leach will pinch in right on goal, but hugging the pipe that time was Mador. Komets intercept again. Perlini dumps it deep. Now they ring it along the high wall.
Nice pickup by Daniels there.
Combs, who a recent pickup by Cincinnati, and what a pickup. He's a 30-goal scorer. They put him on the number one line. Now here comes Daniels, weaving, spinning. Dumps it into the corner for Perlini. A battle of number 10s go at it as Jeff Irwin is in there. They dig along the boards. Cincinnati looks for the breakout, and that should be an icing. But the race is on, so let's see. And they wave it off. As Lacoste, that was great hustle by Brandon Grissel.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at this icing either. The Komets got caught in a bad change. They really did. If he hadn't iced it, they could have turned that puck over, led to a direct scoring opportunity. That was pretty smart by Lacoste there just to get rid of it and take the icing.
8:20 to go in the opening period. Cincinnati on top, 1-0 on the goal by Joe Basaraba. On the draw, it's winding up dangerously in front of the Komet net. They dig for the puck. It's just sitting there. And now Embach moves it ahead to the churning Eric Faille. Faille has it poked away briefly by Tacker. Now here come the Cyclones looking for the breakout. Comes across. Manella. It just dribbles right through the slot. Faille takes a peek over his shoulder. Now it's poked out. Corralled by Szydlowski. Tries to slip by Wysopal, who pins him against the boards. Good play by Wysopal because Szydlowski's so dangerous when he has the puck. Manella dumps it into the Komet zone where Nagle leaves it for Martin. Martin rings it around the boards. Poked right up the middle, and here comes Lowry. Lowry trying to make something happen. Avoids a check that time, and centers but nobody home. So turning it back out the other way, it's Basaraba who has the goal. He takes the heavy hit. There's a backhander that just goes through the goal mouth. Cross ice, top of the circle. That time the pass couldn't find the stick of Stephen Hodges.
Komets need a line change bad.
Good play that time by Uyghur to force the issue on defense, but the Komets able to break it out. Lowry dumps it in, and circling at his own end is Garrett Noonan. Now with speed, tries to come up the middle to Pecan. Pecan takes a look ahead to Basaraba. The big drive, blocker save that time by Nagle, but a huge rebound. Now the puck again in no man's land. Saul comes across, and here come the Komets. Willett had it poked away. Now Willett intercepts. Komets have some numbers. Pistilli.
Nobody's in front.
No place to center, so he goes back to Leach. That was briefly tipped, but high and wide by Matt Lowry. Willett finishes his check with authority.
Another interception by the guy staying high.
And here comes Lowry. Lowry just dumps it toward the goal. Now Willett tries to center through the middle. Chipped out. 6 minutes to go in the first period. Leach comes through center ice, snaps it into the corner. Renault, the referee, had to dodge that one. Back to the point. That was a no man's land pass, so Leach just dumps it in. Severin tries to corral it. Pins his man high. Now Daniels tries to find a lane. Oh, Severin almost had a chance to tip that one home.
Daniels did a great job of just holding the puck long enough to let him get there.
Bumped off the play that time is Severin. And the puck comes to center ice. Tipped ahead that time by Leach. Now deep into the Cincinnati zone. We're under 5.5 minutes to go in period one. David McDonald will start the breakout for the Cyclones. Tries to weave around Szydlowski. Moves it ahead. There's going to be a penalty called on the Komets, I believe. Well, we've got a timeout here in Cincinnati. They're going to call a trip, I believe, on the Komets. 5:14 to go in the first period.
On MyTV Fort Wayne, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine.
Cincinnati goes on the power play as William Lacasse is called 2 minutes for tripping. Penalty coming at the 14:46 mark. And the Komets on the penalty kill, 80.4%, which is 23rd in the league. But Cincinnati on the power play is under 15%, 14.9%.
That was pre-Jack Combs, though, so let's watch.
And that is now 26 out of the 28-team league. So let's see what the Cyclones can do. This is a big penalty kill for the Komets. Pastilli is bumped off the play. Hodges keeps it in. That looked
was out.
Looked like it crossed over the blue line, so there's another call that doesn't quite go the Komets' way. Now they get it back to the point. Pascom's snapping across that time to Stephen Hodges. He's a centerman who's on the point during this man advantage. 4.5 minutes to go in the first period. Back to Hodges. Hodges now to Combs. Combs at the half wall. Dangling, trying to draw two Komets to him. Back to the point it goes to Hodges. Now back to Combs. Combs comes up high. That's kept in with a skate on a good play that time. As Weissopel doing a good job. Komets can't clear. Cross ice pass. Now back to the point to Weissopel. Keeps it in. Here's Hodges. Hodges takes a look.
Komets defenders are gassed. Oh, they got a nice break there.
Yep, it was a methodical power play. Leach just poked the stick out that time and chipped it up into the netting, so the Komets will take that with 43 seconds left in the Cincinnati power play.
You could tell the Komets' legs were dead. They were not forcing the penalty kill at all. They were just kind of sitting back in the box and hoping something good happened.
Big face-off with Faille on the draw. But that time Heward wins the draw, and here come the Komets trying to break out with Szydlowski. Just had the puck poked away at the last instant. Down to the final 30 seconds of the man advantage. Basaraba goes cross ice. Out to the point it comes. Wrist shot just goes wide of the net that time as a quick shot by Mackenzie Weegar.
Basaraba got another tip.
Back behind the net. That time Martin trying to manhandle the Cyclone who is looking to set up shop. David McDonald rings it around behind. Here's Heward. Heward comes back out to the point to McDonald, and he can't keep it in. That should be an offside. And it's a delayed offside, so Cincinnati has to clear. That gives Martin time to hold the puck, and the power play is over. So a good job by the Komets on a penalty kill early. Now let's see if the Komets can come back the other way. A shot from the blue line is just gloved that time by Medor. So we have another timeout here in the first period. 3:06 to go. 1-0 in favor of Cincinnati. You are watching.
Presented by Parkview Sports Medicine.
Komets looking to get some offense going here in the final 3 minutes of the opening period. They trail 1-0. Risk dumps it deeply into the corner. Schrock trying to come up with it. Now Perlini comes away with the puck, comes back to the point, but Michael Tam was going one way, the puck went the other, and racing in to put the pressure on is Jack Downing. Now here's Perlini with the puck, had it in his feet behind the net, and the Komets will try to regroup as William Lacasse will start the breakout. Comes up the middle, but a little too sharply that time, off the stick of Schrock. Around the boards it comes. Tam will pinch and keep it in. He takes a heavy hit that time, delivered by Manella.
Took a hit to make a play, though.
Well, and Michael Tam will remember that. And looks like Manella, listed as the 10th forward, is bidding for more ice time because he's out there throwing it around. But the Komets will remember that. Now dumped into the Komet zone. It will not be icing. Lacasse races back. Just rips it right around the boards where Embach tries to tip it out. And here comes Tam with the puck. We are under 2 minutes to go in what has been a very fast-paced opening period. Shots are even 6 apiece, and there's Michael Tam saying, how's that for a payback, as he knocks Vigier right off his pins, and then somebody comes up and wants to start jousting around with Tam, and that was Manella. Now Embach has his shot blocked. So one thing I don't understand, if you're going to deliver a big hit, you better be ready to take one, and there is an offside. Yep.
The Cincinnati Cyclones are going to go away a jersey to one lucky fan in every home game. Just fill out one.
I bet you're an agitator when you're out there playing, aren't you, Kent?
I never really was that much. No, I really wasn't, because, and trust me, I got hit more than I hit.
Oh, that explains a few
That
things.
probably explains a lot, doesn't it? But, Manella just delivers a big hit.
Yeah.
And then so Tam steps into a Cyclone, and then, it's the one thing, and I've said this more than once when I do these broadcasts, if there's one thing I learned from the great Eddie Long, keep your head up.
Keep your mouth shut, too.
And as a pro, if you don't keep your head up, be prepared to be lit up like a pinball machine. Minute and a half to go in the opening period. Pastilli serves that into the zone, and the Komets will chase. Pinching in that time is Saul. Controlling is Willett. Dump behind the net for Pastilli. Pastilli very strong with his stick. Looks to break out. Has it poked off his stick. Tries to ring it back to the point. There's Martin. Martin, though, looking for an open shooting lane. Tries to dump it on and gets it through, and it's smothered that time by Medor.
He's trying to get Willett to tip it in front, and he just missed it. It's been a very possessional game so far. I mean, you can tell both teams are getting deep defensively, and it's getting hard to get through. It looks like playoff hockey.
Well, and scoring chances have been at a premium. Komets have had a couple. Still try to generate more traffic in front.
They've been there. They just haven't been able to get their stick on the puck.
And Medor's made a couple of big saves, and frankly, the great scoring chance that Cincinnati has had, it has converted. There's a shot. By.
Oh!
Hits the post. Faille, it went off his body, dropped right at his feet. He spun and ripped it, and it caromed off the pipe. Unbelievable. Komets thought they had that tied. 42 seconds to go. That time Jeff Irwin took a bump, and I think the physical play is picking up a little. There's an errant pass. Big drive by Irwin. There's a loose puck right in front. The Komets do a great job of clearing it out.
Cody Soul put him on his back.
Yep. Brandon Grissel took a seat. Otherwise, it would have been 2-0. So here late in the period, a couple of great scoring opportunities. Szydlowski, Embach tries to go cross ice. Nobody home there, down to the final 15 seconds. Now Grissel just will dump it deep. Cincinnati's going for a full change, under 10 to go.
So are the Komets right now.
Now Leach will take a peek. Daniels ahead. There'll be a big drive by Szydlowski that's sticked aside that time as the horn sounds. So a very fast-paced first period. The shots were even at 7 apiece. It was a great period of hockey. And Cincinnati with the lone tally. That was Joe Basaraba's 11th goal, coming 8 minutes into this hockey game. So we will take our first time out here of our intermission, come back with a brief recap. You're watching My Komets on My TV.
And now, back to My Komets Hockey on My TV Fort Wayne, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine.
Second period just underway here at U.S. Bank Arena. The Komets put a shot on goal. Rob Medor smothered it, and we are underway. Opening 10 seconds of period 2. Komets looking for an equalizer as they trail 1-0. Brett Perlini doing a good job of pinching in deeply. Now Kaylee Schrock with the puck. He's rubbed up along the board, so dumps it back behind the net. Risk tries to keep it alive. Now spinning around and taking a look is Perlini back to the point. Daniel's shot is deflected, and that'll just clip the netting above the glass. So a face-off will be again back in the Cincinnati zone as we have played the opening 36 seconds of period number 2. Kent Horman, the new Sentinels' Blake Sebring, here at the U.S. Bank Arena in downtown Cincinnati.
Where it's so loud you can almost not think.
That is true.
I guess their fans don't make any noise.
They've got quite a speaker system here, and they are showing it off. Szydlowski pins his man against the boards. Komets really trying to step up the forecheck here in the early going. Embach couldn't get it deep enough, and now breaking out is Shane Tacker. Tries to dump it in. And again, a big hit is delivered to Lacasse by Manella. So Manella is hitting everything that moves. Cross-ice pass goes to Lacoste. He has a little space. Tries to weave in, little backhander through the slot. Right there is Faille. Big drive, and what a save that time by Mador. Szydlowski picked up a loose puck about 15 feet out and just creamed it, but it was right into the chest of Mador.
Boy, that's the type of shot that Szydlowski buries 9 times out of 10, too. I mean, he had Mador guessing and the whole bit.
Well, the Komets, though, the first couple of shots here in the opening minute and change of period number 2. Now Lowry out with Pistilli and Willette. Hodges on the draw for the Cyclones, and he wins it cleanly. Comes back behind the net that time by Mackenzie Weegar. Now it comes back the other way. Basaraba tries to chip it out, can't. Now spinning in his own zone is Heward. And the Cyclones look to regroup. Trying to start the rush is Noonan. That is tipped to center. Saul collects for the Komets and moves it ahead to Willette. Willette, that pass is intercepted. And now here come the Cyclones. Hodges. Heward comes cross ice down the slot. Good block that time, as that never made it all the way home. And now racing back to make the play is Garrett Noonan.
Pistilli really made a nice defensive play there.
Noonan with speed wheels it up the middle. Noonan just kind of coming right down the lane. Big hit that time applied by Lowry on Pecan. Komets look to move it out. Cross ice pass. Pistilli has to stop. Just dumps it into the Cincinnati zone.
And goes for a change.
Komets have kept the shifts short and tight. And again, this is the third game of a 3-game road trip. It started Wednesday in Elmira, last night in Wheeling, tonight in Cincinnati. A lot of time on the bus. Right in front, kicked out with the right leg that time by Nagle. And it still winds up in the Komet zone. There again is Manella, stepping into anybody he can find in a white jersey. Risk snaps the shot right on, and again covered up by Rob Mador. Wasn't that long ago, Blake. Rob Mador, a playoff MVP.
He's pretty darn good. I mean, he just covers his angles very well. He's great butterfly goalie, and his glove hand is just about unbeatable. You're going to have to go high stick side a lot.
17:25 left in period number 2. Again, 1-0 in favor of the Cyclones. Komets with an 11-8 shot advantage. Now Faille has that face-off picked away from him, but back to Szydlowski. Embach right in front, the shot saved. Embach right on the doorstep, but Mador was there to close the door. Now ahead, here comes Cincinnati as Tacker gets it over to Vijay. There's a shot right on, sticked aside by Nagle. Another one right in front. Nagle again makes another save. That time they're just shoving Gracel out of the way, right on the doorstep, and again the Komets are able to clear. Cincinnati with some tremendous pressure and opportunities. Szydlowski ahead to Faille, who spins around. Now Embach circles out. Back to the point. The one-timer just chipped away that time. I think that went off the skate of Weissopel. Embach again takes a look. Spins away from the defender. Still has the puck. Szydlowski has it at the hash. Dances around the man right in front. Embach is denied again by Mador.
3 times this game so far.
Rob Mador has closed the door on the Komets about 5 times here in the first 3.5 minutes, as the K's have really picked up the pressure in the Cincinnati end.
Will Lacoste, who made a very nice defensive play to save off a big scoring chance for the Cyclones that last series.
Now Pistilli has it poked away by Hodges, who now enters the Komet zone. Hodges tries to weave through traffic, leaves a shot that just whistles right by the net that time, as Heward tried to keep it low to see if somebody could tip it. Now spinning is Manella, comes back to the point, cross ice it goes. Noonan with the shot, that is deflected away by Pistilli. Pistilli tries to feather it ahead, initially blocked by Noonan. And now Cincinnati will set it up again. Noonan comes across, that time tipped into by Pecan. Tam takes a look over his shoulder. He's ridden off the play heavily that time by Manella. Cincinnati looks to center. That's just chipped out by the Komets. C.J. Severin, a good back check, though, that time by Cincinnati. Here's Combs. Combs weaves, backhander. That whistles wide. Sticked aside that time by Nagle, as it's become a shooting gallery here in early period 2. Right through the slot. That's kicked out by Nagle. As Combs skates right in, intercepts, tries to swim around the net, can't. Fans were looking for a penalty, but on they play. Now Severin tries to step into his man. Komets intercept at neutral ice. Ahead it goes. Here's Schrock. Schrock with speed. Schrock has it go high off the glass. Tries to spin around. Josh McFadden can't. And here come the Cyclones. McFadden takes a look, bangs it off the backboards. Schrock on the forecheck, no. And that'll go the length of the rink, and they're saying no icing, so Nagle, a good stop behind the net. Saul bangs it off the boards, and the K's looking to break out. That pass is behind risk, so Perlini will take it himself. He's clogged up at the blue line, and now here come the Cyclones again. Josh McFadden with some speed. Just clears center ice, dumps it in. Nagle awaits, stops the puck, and turning is James Martin. 14-16 to go in the first period. That's into the feet of Risk, but picking up the puck with speed is Martin, the all-star defenseman. Just tries to dump it toward the net. And Weissopel, a good little pesky defenseman. Ahead it goes. Now Saul has to track it down. Saul just fends off the Cyclone for a moment, but has his pocket picked that time by Grissel. Now it winds up in neutral ice. Szydlowski ahead. Komets looking for some numbers. Now it comes back to the point. Daniels takes a look right at the top of the circle. Drive, and that goes wide. Here's Szydlowski with the puck. He'll take a look. Szydlowski back to Daniels. Daniels again comes in. Puts it right on that time and kicked aside. It comes back to Daniels again. Now Daniels comes. Faille comes back to Joey Leach. Here's Daniels up top. Over to Szydlowski. Komets doing a great job of, again, weaving the puck around. That caroms that time off of a Cyclone and goes beyond the reach of Daniels. Leach hustles back, turns it back up the middle. Faille has a good job of corralling the puck. Szydlowski to Embach in the slot to the Faille. Faille dances around. Great save, rebound, score!
Got his own rebound.
Well, there you have the money line at its best. If at first you don't succeed, and Faille with a great first shot and a fantastic save by Medor, and then Faille picked up the rebound and flipped it high into the netting, and we are tied at 1.
Boy, you can just tell a huge difference, Kent, when the Komets are methodical and they slow it down to get it through the neutral zone. When they try to go fast, that's when they turn the puck over and create all kinds of problems for themselves. When they take their time and get it into the zone, that's when they seem to be able to control the puck and the action a lot more.
By his 24th, and he has flat out been on fire.
11 straight games with a point. That gives him 21 points, I believe, in those 11 straight games.
So we are even at 1 apiece on Faille's 24th. Embach, I believe, will have an assist, and I would think Szydlowski would as well. We'll wait for the official announcement. Brand new hockey game, and the Komets with tremendous pressure here in the opening 7 minutes or so of period number 2.
They did a great job of using their points there again, like we talked about early in the game.
Now the Komets, well, they give it to Szydlowski and reach right in front, but that time Lowry can't get a handle on it. Szydlowski and Leach get the assist. I actually thought Embach made the pass to set Faille free. Now here's Perlini dancing around his defender, Weegar. He looks to center, can't, still has the puck, tries to keep it going behind. Now Pistilli, so strong with his stick, is just bulldogged off the play that time. And per a rule, the player who loses the helmet has to head straight for his bench. Now Combs almost put his man offside. Top of the circle, big drive, score.
Wow.
Somebody left the man. And it was kind of a tough angle shot. Looked like it got right underneath the crossbar. Cincinnati goes back on top at the 8:06 mark.
It's amazing how many times this season the Komets have scored a goal to tie or take a lead and then give it up in the next minute. It's just astonishing.
Well, and it was just a missed assignment.
Tam kind of got caught in no man's land because he couldn't head out to get the shooter because that would have left the other forward behind him wide open. One of the forwards dropped their assignment there.
So the Komets had no more than tied the game, but Cincinnati goes back on top 2-1. That goal coming at the 8:06 mark.
Cyclones goal, his 14th of the season, scored by number 51,
Brandon Gracell gets the goal. There's a shot right on that is deflected by Medor up into the netting.
And Medor thought that was in. He thought that deflection was going in.
Time for the goal, 8:06.
So Gracell gets the goal,
All right, Cyclones fans.
his 14th of the season, and we have a timeout here at US Bank Arena. 11:13.
Presented by Parkview Sports Medicine and airing exclusively on MyTV Fort Wayne.
Back at US Bank Arena, Kent Horman along with the new Sentinels Blake Sebring, just a minute and 12 seconds after the Komets' Eric Faille tied the game. Brandon Gracell with a whistling drive from just above the top of the circle over the shoulder of Pat Nagle. And now it's 2-1 in favor of Cincinnati. The Komets still have the shot advantage, 16-12, as we are under 11 and a half minutes to go in period 2. And just when it looked like the Komets were taking control of play, Cincinnati scores that goal. Cyclones looking for more, but the K's come up with the puck behind the net. Szydlowski puts it ahead. Embach back to Faille. They try to go through the slot. And racing in on the play, I believe it was the defenseman Tam who put himself offside. So the K's will go for the quick change and bring out Risk, Perlini, and Schrock. That was the line that started the game, that basically the checking line tonight.
I wonder if they gave the guys earplugs between periods. This is nuts. Got to remember that if the Komets end up playing these guys in the playoffs again.
Well, Leach just snaps it in. It rings behind the Cincinnati goal where Schrock dumps it. Risk was going after it, but Pecan had it for a second. Now he gets it again. Comes to the left side to Combs. Pecan has it. Just pokes it into the Komet zone where it's dumped back out. This will not be an icing, and Josh McFadden gathers the puck for Cincinnati. 10.5 to go in period 2. Long pass ahead to Combs. They have a chance to have numbers. Pecan back to Combs. That's chipped away, and then hustling back is Jack Downing. Now Combs drive right from the slot. Downing with the big drive, and that was steered aside by Nagle. Now Daniels tries to dump it ahead. This will likely be an icing, and indeed it is.
The Cincinnati Cyclones edge
So
out.
10:10 to go in period number 2.
Regular season game the rest of the year. Check out our new Jack 4-6
Well, it was
on cycloneshockey.com.
2 weeks ago when the Komets were here
137 for more information.
and fell to the Cyclones. 3-1, Jack Downing had all 3 of those goals.
3 power play goals, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hodges on the draw that time. The K's win the faceoff. J.M. Risk has the pass. Dumps it into the corner. The K's go for a line change. We've played just over halfway of period number 2, 2-1 in favor of Cincinnati. Each team with a goal in this stanza after Cincinnati scored the lone goal of period number 1. Medor plays behind his own cage. Dangerous pass right up the middle. Hodges tries to chip it ahead. Now it comes cross ice. Noonan. Now Noonan tries to leave for Hodges. Hodges back behind the net. That's too strong for Noonan. Cody Saul has it for the Komets. He tries to flip it ahead. Nobody home there. That'll just be dumped right back in. Nagels bangs it off the boards. Sola stepped into by Basaraba, who then loses an edge and takes a seat. Now it comes up ahead. Pastilli caroms it off the boards. Lowry trying to roar in, steps into his man. Now Pastilli battling for it behind the net. Pastilli is so strong with his stick. And again, they joust around behind the net with Wysopal. And that's just cleared out by Cincinnati, and Tam can't quite track it down initially, so he has to play into the corner. Vijay steps into him. Draws a big roar from the crowd. Now Lowry. Komets having a little trouble getting it deep now on this sequence, and here come the Cyclones trying to get an odd man rush. Nagle will steer that aside. And now Nagle will just cover up, and the Komets are making sure they protect Nagle.
I'll tell you what, Michael Tam is one strong little guy. He is not very big, but man, is he strong.
Well, we've got a timeout here at U.S. Bank Arena, 8:29 to go in period 2. Cincinnati leads the Komets 2-1. You're watching My Komets on My TV.
On My TV Fort Wayne, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine.
Now back at U.S. Bank Arena, the face-off is to the right of Komets goaltender Pat Nagle. Irwin in on the draw against Faille. And it comes back. Cincinnati will dump it behind the zone. Vijay is battling with Lacasse. Vijay steps into Lacasse. Now Embach has it poked away. Vijay dumps it back into the corner.
Now they're in trouble.
Irwin's going to battle with Tam. Now Irwin banks that off the boards. That was awkwardly. A lot of players getting tangled up, and here come the Komets. Faille on the left side still has control of the puck, but has it poked away. And now here is Stefan Vijay. Comes across to Irwin. He will just serve it into the Komet zone as Cincinnati goes for a change.
Faille has really struggled on the face-offs tonight.
And he is usually Mr. Reliable. Now here comes Szydlowski breaking in with some room. Leaves for Faille. Faille will snap it. Goes right into the shin guards of the Cincinnati defender.
Come on, got to put some mustard on those passes.
Now Szydlowski tries to step into Pecan, get the puck away. And now Szydlowski comes up with the puck. Comes across Daniels, who's streaking in. That goes off the skates of Faille, who is standing right in front of Rob Medor. Now Pecan weaving in, or check that. That's Jack Downing. Now it's Pecan, top of the circle, has it poked away, still has it, tries to backhand it toward the net. Leach controls, takes the hit. Embach will step into Combs. Combs still has the puck, comes back to the point. Cincinnati looking to tee up a shot. Backhander through the slot. That time it went off the skates of Basaraba and back to neutral ice. Under 7 minutes to go, period 2. Now the Komets get it in deep, and just fresh off the bench, C.J. Severin tries to put some pressure on Hodges. Ahead to center. That's one-handed into the Komet zone briefly by Basaraba. Schrock, a good hip check delivered that time by McDonald. Boy, Severin racing in, trying to make something happen. Saul will pinch in to keep it alive. Banged off the board. Cyclones look to control, but Saul keeps it alive for a moment. Severin steps into his man on the high wall. Komets looking for the equalizer here in period 2. And that winds up amongst the paying customers, of which there's a great crowd tonight on Paws and Pucks night, where you can bring your dog to the game. We've got a timeout here at U.S. Bank Arena. 6:18 to go in period 2. Cincinnati 2, the Komets 1. You're watching.
Presented by Parkview Sports Medicine.
Now back to the action. The puck will wind up in the Komet zone, where it's tracked down by James Martin. Pressure on him by Heward. Now Pastilli turns and with speed crosses the blue line, and indeed it was, as just that little move he made to bring it back across put Christian Willett astride offside.
I tell you what, Kent, if they show that kiss cam up here, it ain't happening. I don't care how much I like you. It ain't happening. Sorry.
Well, the good news is they leave the broadcasters alone.
Everybody clap your hands.
Komets have 8 shots this period to 6 for the Cyclones, but one of those shots has found the back of the net for each team. Now Mackenzie Weegar to center. Komets intercept.
Doesn't this just feel like a playoff game, though?
It absolutely does. I mean, they're finishing checks, but they're playing the body legitimately.
Playing the systems, like religiously.
And again, you know, for the Cyclones, they might as well figure every game from here to the end is a playoff game.
Yeah.
Because they are battling for a playoff spot, and right now,
everybody's waiting for the one mistake they can capitalize on.
Yep.
Maybe for a power play or something.
Well, that puck weaved right through the slot in front of the net and got between the feet of Willett, and that'll be an icing.
Wow, I didn't think that was icing.
Fans, tonight's featured group of the game is...
Oh, that was just a nice play.
Celebrating their 100th
Well, and as a result of the icing, Cincinnati cannot change personnel, and they were trying to sneak a couple of guys on the ice, so Garrett Noonan is brought back onto the ice.
Everybody tries.
Faille, Embach, and Szydlowski are out. Faille back to Embach. Embach can't quite tee it up, and then it's poked off his stick. And Lacasse comes cross ice. Tam fires that into the corner as we wind down to the 5-minute mark of period number 2. VJ tries to come ahead. Good job that time by Lacasse to clog that play up. Wrapped around the boards. That time Szydlowski was taking a quick peek. Now Sid has it back. Tam with a good little chip pass that goes ahead. Faille tries to dump it in. Now Wysopal back to neutral ice for the Cyclones.
Both teams are getting entrenched at the blue lines, aren't they? I mean, they're really forcing you to make a play to get it into the zones.
And there's another offside called on the Komets. Well, again, are you a competitive athlete who wants to successfully perform at ever-increasing levels of competition? Call Parkview Sports Medicine 266-4007 to learn more about their performance training programs. We'll have another edition of Sound Off with the Komets, 7:30 at the Sport One Parkview Ice House. This coming Monday, I'll be in for Tommy, and my guest will be Mike Embach. So join us at the Thirsty Penguin, 7:30. Sound Off with the Komets, 21 Alive. They always have great food and drink specials.
It's going to be an hour-and-a-half show, right?
No, it's a half hour.
When are you going to talk?
Yeah, Embach is a little chatty. There's Struck pouncing on a loose puck, and again a big save by Mador, who came out to cut off the angle. That puck just caromed right onto the stick of Kaylee Schrock, a good low snapshot, and Mador came out and was able to shut the door.
Nothing more Kaylee could have done because Mador was out. You know, he had no room to stick handle because the defenseman was sliding over as well. I mean, all he could do was shoot, and he could only shoot for 5-hole.
Well, again, you have Faille, Embach, and Szydlowski out. Daniels and Leach on the points. Irwin loses the draw. Now Daniels dances around, tries to leave it back. Szydlowski, a shot that whistles over the top of the crossbar. Back to the point it comes again. Leach will tee it up. That caroms around right in front of the net. Komets still have control briefly as Faille was really battling 2 Cyclones. Now Daniels will take it back to Joey Leach. Leach goes into the feet that time of Embach, so racing in to collect the puck that time is Drew Daniels. Just under 4 minutes to go, period 2. 2-1 Cincinnati. Embach across to Szydlowski. Embach dancing around. Now it comes back to the point. Daniels will just try to throw it in front of the net. That's wide. Szydlowski takes a peek, dumps it back. Now Embach. Embach is bumped hard that time by Shane Tacker. Komets still control. Szydlowski trying to work some magic. Wow. So strong with the puck. Now Daniels throws it through the slot. Tipped along to the point. Kept in by Joey Leach behind. That's a little too strong for Embach, but Daniels is there pinching in. Dumps it back into the corner. Embach is bodied off the play. Big hit that time was applied by Faille. Faille tries to dig the puck out. That's wide. Now Embach. Embach comes up high. Cody Saul. That goes wide. Komets have been able to get a line change to boot while all this is going on.
Cincinnati's dead tired.
Now Szydlowski.
Oh, they're in trouble.
Has it poked away. Irwin tries to feed it ahead. Tremendous defensive play by Szydlowski, or Gracel would have been in all alone.
Cincinnati makes the change.
Now Martin weaving through traffic. Martin down the slot. That goes over the top of the cage. 2:38 to go, period 2. Schrock tries to keep it alive for a moment. And now here's Basaraba. He has a goal tonight. Basaraba tries a toe drag. The shot blocked by Sol. Winds up back behind the Komet zone. That's run around the boards by Martin and just tipped out by C.J. Severin. 2-1 in favor of the Cyclones.
Both teams having a horrible time getting through this neutral zone.
Cody Saul comes across to Martin.
Slow down.
Martin through the middle. Here comes Severin. Severin trying to pick up some speed and slide by the defender. There's going to be a penalty, and I think this time on the Cyclones. Whistle blows. And so there will be a hooking call. And this will come at the 18:03 mark of period 2.
Komets' first power play of the night.
A hooking call going against the Cyclones. And that will go against McFadden. So the K's go on the power play for the first time tonight. Komets on the power play, 19.8%. Cincinnati on the penalty kill, just 80%. That's 24th in the league.
Komets' power play has been very solid of late. It's actually improved quite a bit since the first half of the season.
And they cannot keep it in. That is shot the length of the rink, that time by Vijay. So the K's will regroup and start anew, as we now have 100 seconds to go in period number 2. Szydlowski weaving around with the puck. Has a couple of Cyclones on him. That is tipped away briefly. Embach comes back to Daniels. Daniels takes a look. K's are looking for that one-timer. Now it goes to Severin. Severin at the hash. Takes a look. Now it goes back where you have two Komets. Faille. Hacker tries to bump him off the play. Gives him a little cross-check. Now Szydlowski back down low to Faille. Embach in the slot. That is shot and just steered aside by Medor. Now Szydlowski takes a look again. Sid just dancing and weaving with the puck. Down low to Faille. Faille taking a look. There's a tough angle shot by Severin. That's through heavy traffic and then flipped high and clearing the rink that time. A glorious opportunity that I think first hit Medor and then caromed off a couple of Cyclone players. Under a minute to go. K's still have 50 seconds to go in the power play. Pistilli moves it ahead to Martin. Martin will just dump it behind the net. K's pinch, there's Willett. Willett tries to come cross ice, nobody home, and here come the Cyclones. It's Combs one-on-one.
Pulls up.
Combs shoots at that time into Martin. And Combs comes away with the puck, tries to ring it around, no. Combs goes to the ice, and the K's can have some numbers if they can pick up the step a little bit. Now here's Lowry. Lowry dumps it behind. And the Cyclones will just chip it the length of the rink. And there's only 10 seconds to go in the period. Don't know if the Komets will have time for one last rush. No urgency really right now by Martin. Pistilli just tees it up. And that caroms behind the net. And we have completed 2 periods of play. Each team with a goal in period 2. So Cincinnati still has the 1-goal advantage after 40 minutes of play. It's Cincinnati 2, the Komets 1. We will take our first time out of our second intermission break. You're watching Town Cincinnati along with the new Sentinels Blake Sebring. Ken Horman ringside. We are just about set to start period 3 as the Komets will have to play a little bit of catch-up hockey here because they trailed the Cyclones by the score of 2-1. They're going to start the Faille, Embach, Szydlowski line here in period 3, trying to shake things up.
Sometimes you can do that with against the other team's top offensive line because they're not as good defensively, and if you can control the puck, you might be able to create a couple of quick opportunities.
Well, if you just might be tuning in, because basically the number 1 Cincinnati line now is Jack Combs, David McCann, and Jack Downing. They started, but the Komets put their third line, their checking line, J.M. Risk, Brett Perlini, and Kaylee Schrock on them. But the Komets' money line starts things off, and as we begin period number 3, Cincinnati returns to full strength. So we are underway. Komets need a goal to tie it. Embach comes across. That was a little behind Daniels. Daniels takes the bump that time from Irwin. Now they race behind the net. Komets have it. Oh, almost a little weak side tuck-in play, that time by Szydlowski. Puck will skitter the length of the rink, and that'll be icing against Cincinnati. So a decent early chance for the Komets, 25 seconds into third period.
Be interesting to see how the Komets do on the face-offs in the third. They've kind of struggled all night to control the face-offs and control the puck. If they could win an offensive zone face-off or two, that would give them a big boost.
Well, that's basically a draw on the draw. Now Graysell skates in. That shot is blockered aside by Nagle. Daniels just dumps it along the wall, and it comes back to neutral ice. Now Faille takes his time, gets it across to Szydlowski. Tries to serve it ahead to Embach, but that caroms off a Cyclone player, and back into the Komet zone. Lacasse fires it ahead. Embach has it. He's pinched along the wall.
Something to remember, the Komets have only had 2 losing streaks all year. One was a 3-gamer in mid-January. And the other one, they lost the 2 games back-to-back, one in overtime, one in a shootout to Indianapolis at home at the end of February. The team hates to lose.
A shot right on that time, and it's gloved by Nagle as Komets, the recent acquisition of the Cyclones, immediately inserted on their first line, and a guy with a lot of offensive skill.
He sure has bounced around this year, that's for sure.
Well, I had a Komet fan come up to me before we started period 3, and they said, who does Komets remind you of? That is just chipped over the top of the Komet net. Centering pass, nothing but white shirts there. Cincinnati keeps it alive. Noonan, the centering pass attempt that time won't go, so Komets goes back. One-timer. That was a bit of a knuckleball that curled wide of the net. Now, Pecan, as Komets just leaves it go. Noonan races in. Behind the net, Pecan, now to Komets. Komets takes a look. Centering pass that time. Whew, yep. Downing couldn't quite finish, and that was just barely tipped wide. Now Cincinnati with great pressure here.
The Komets need a change.
Pecan is stepped into by Ouellette. Now Ouellette has the puck, banks it off the boards. A little too strong for Perlini. And that is tipped again back into the corner. Now intercepted by Ouellette. Ouellette comes across. Good pass to Severin. Severin looks ahead. Now Severin just dumps into the corner, tries to win the race with Mackenzie Weegar. He's rolled off the play. Perlini has it. He's bodied off the play by Downing. Komets keep it alive. Perlini tries to leave it. Now it goes back behind the net. Lowry giving chase. Spun around that time by Noonan. Now cycling in his own then is Mackenzie Weegar. But I think the observation the Komet fan made is it sounds like Komets bounces around a lot because he's kind of a one-way player. He's very offensive-minded, not very passionate about defense.
Silver Lake, the family plays in the official recreation facility.
Well, he certainly has the offensive numbers to prove it, but you know, there are players, Blake, that gain that reputation for you basically have to take him by the hand and introduce him to his own goaltender because they don't have the passion for back checking. And clearly, you know, I mean, Gary Graham demands that of all of his players, and I think that's one of the reasons the Komets have been so solid. You know, even their skilled players like a Faille, a Szydlowski, a Pistilli, they're passionate about the defensive part of their game as well.
Usually guys like that are great regular season players, and then they start golfing.
The one-way guys.
Yeah.
Yep. That's icing called against the Komets.
Because they don't go very far if they even make the playoffs.
Again, the game tonight brought to you by Parkview Sports Medicine. The game just isn't the same without you. Call Parkview Sports Medicine 266-4007 when pain or injury strikes. Make their team of expert physicians your dream team. Martin bangs it along the board. Szydlowski tries to clear. There's a heavy hit that time applied to Lowry. Lowry will remember the license number of that truck. Now Saul pinches in. Vijay shoots it into the skates of Schrock. Comes back to Daniels. We've played 3 minutes and 20 seconds of the third period. Back to Saul. Saul crosses the red line. Big drive and right into the glove of Mador.
Not a bad idea.
Nope.
I mean, he had a great look. He was wide open.
Well, it's one of the time-honored sayings in hockey. Put the puck on the net and good things can happen. Vijay rubbed off the play that time by Szydlowski.
Quick.
Leach comes ahead. Faille tries to leave for Embach. Leach can't keep it alive. Now he has to race back. Good backhand pass that time to Szydlowski. Now Szydlowski over to Faille. Faille tries to put the shot on, and Mador again with that quick glove as Embach was cutting right in front of him, in front of the crease. So Rob Mador at the top of his game.
Well, and Cincinnati's doing a great job against the Komets' money line of shoving them off to a side and keeping them pinned along the boards.
Now Cincinnati looking for the breakout, comes ahead to Downing. Downing looks to thread it through the middle. That's chipped back to center. Cyclones do a good job of touching up to avoid an offside. Szydlowski now leaves for Leach. Leach ahead to Embach. Embach has to swat it down. And now here comes the Komets with some space. Szydlowski dances in. Quick shot and a quick glove again by Mador.
You're not going to beat him on that side.
15:36 to go in period number 3. Well, this is the final lengthy road trip for the Komets of the regular season.
Sleeping in their own beds the rest of the way.
Yep. Yeah, because their final 2 road games are one in Indianapolis a week from tonight. We will have that for you right here on my TV, and then April 10th in Kalamazoo. Regular season ends April 11th as Tam runs right into a truck that is Stephen Hodges. That shot off the body of Schrock. Schrock racing in. Tries to pinch along the boards. Komets try to keep it in the zone. They do. Now Risk puts a shot. Oh, Schrock tried to deflect it and just couldn't quite get it. Now again, the Komets trying to throw it in front. Risk overskates it. Risk has it back. Here's Tam.
Oh.
Tam comes across a little too strong for Lowry. Lowry taken off the play that time by McFadden, and here come the Cyclones ahead. There's a pass. Lacoste has to try to race back.
Nice.
Does a good job of tracking down Heward. Back to the point it comes. Now it's David McDonald, comes cross ice. Back to McDonald. McDonald fires it right in the slot. Great save by Nagle, and another great save on the rebound. Tremendous goaltending that time by Pat Nagle as the drive from the point made it all the way through, got him in the chest. The rebound was right there, and again, Nagle, Johnny on the spot to thwart another Cincinnati opportunity.
Nice concentration.
So on comes the line.
I think Brett Perlini's due.
Yep, Perlini's out there, and looks like he's going to be the centerman with Severin on his left. Willett on the right side. Right there, the shot is drawn back, and a big quick shot by Downing, kicked out of there with the stick.
Another lost faceoff.
By Nagle. Baccan spins. That's weakly out there. Now here comes Willett trying to break out. Willett dumps it in. Severin with speed trying to bump Weegar off the play. Weegar slips the hit by Willett, and here come the Cyclones back the other way. Up the middle comes Downing. Downing tries to dance around the defender Martin, can't get it done. Now Severin tries to spin away from Combs.
Nice.
Comes ahead, dangerous pass, but it's to Saul. Saul, fine rushing defenseman. That's just tipped aside that time with the big stick of Rob Medor. 14 minutes to go in regulation. Now racing out is Mackenzie Weegar. His shot sails wide. Combs takes the big hit that time from Willett along the high wall, right near the hash. Flipped to neutral ice, where it is collared that time by Brett Weissopel. Irwin, intercepted by the Komets. Tipped away by Daniels. Leach tries to go high, but intercepted again by the Cyclones. Stéphane Vigier, that's right off the shoulder that time of Nagle. It's right in front. Nobody sees it. Nagle finally is able to smother it. So a tremendous save by Nagle to keep it a 1-goal game. 13:27 to go in period number 3.
And now, back to My Komets Hockey on My TV Fort Wayne. Presented by Parkview Sports Medicine.
Well, Cincinnati has outshot the Komets 7-2 here through the first 6.5 minutes of period 3. They now have a 20-19 shot advantage. Bouncing biscuit, and that's just golfed into the Komet zone by Tacker. Now the K's look for the breakout. Here comes Faille. Faille with the speed to Szydlowski. He dumps it ahead. Faille tries to win the race from Irvin. He's bodied off the play by Irwin. K's pinch in and keep it in. A lot of scrumming around on the boards. Daniels
Nice
slips
move.
his defender, puts it to Embach. Embach has the shot blocked. A lot of traffic in front, but it's carrying off a lot of guys in gray jerseys. Now circling back in his own zone is Joey Leach.
Oh, boy.
Leach has the pass intercepted as he fanned on it. Now racing in. Oh, that shot is just a little too strong that time for Irwin, as it was a great interception and pass by Nick Heward. There again is another weak shot and a score. The Komets absolutely lost control of their own zone, and Basaraba has his second goal of the night. That one hurts.
That was assisted by Daniels, who tried that little chip pass out front to Leach.
Basaraba, his second goal of the night, 12th of the season. It comes at 7:31. And now 3-1 in favor of the Cyclones.
Oh, terrible.
No, we're watching the replay. A weak pass by Daniels that got away from Joey Leach, and Basaraba just pounced on it from about 8 to 10 feet out and snapped it past Pat Nagle. Komets really have some work to do now. Tam wraps it into the zone.
Cyclones goal, his second
Now let's see if the Komets can return the favor in a short period of time. That pass is too strong. Tam has to glove it back in neutral ice. Now Perlini slips by the defender. Perlini shoots. Big save by Mandor. Rebound, and he's able to cover it up. That was a great scoring opportunity by Perlini, who was able to slide around Josh McFadden. Well, it's an unassisted goal.
Yeah. It was a tough one.
12:04 to go in regulation. Now 3-1 in favor of the Cyclones.
That's probably the worst play Drew Daniels has made this year. I mean, because he's been great. He's been amazing. But that was a bad one.
Now off the draw, Schrock trying to put some pressure on. Cincinnati looking to clear. McCann just bangs it off the boards towards center. Schrock wraps it around. Medor able to stop it behind his net, and he leaves for Mackenzie Weegar.
There's 12 minutes left, essentially, and it feels like there's 4, doesn't it? I mean, it just feels like that type of game where they're running out of time already.
And there's an offside. And Cincinnati had another potential 2-on-1, but that time McCann did not recognize Combs breaking just quite quickly enough, and by the time he sent the cross-ice pass, Combs with a couple of strides into the Komet zone. So now it's a 21-20 shot advantage for the Cyclones. Coming into tonight's action, the Komets lead the series with Cincinnati 3-1. Nagle leaves behind for Leach. Leach will carry it off the boards to his defensive mate Daniels. Daniels is hit high and hard, that time by Manella. And the Komets ought to send a message down the line to Christian Manella and maybe give him a little bit of a wake-up call. That time he pounds into Leach. Now Embach right down the slot to Faille. Faille looks for the backhand across. Nobody quite home. Szydlowski was breaking toward the net, but the timing just a smidge off.
Got a penalty.
And we're going to have a hooking call. That will come at the 8:48 mark. First penalty of period 3. And it goes to the Cyclones, Brett Weissopel. And that'll be hooking. So the Komets on the power play for the second time tonight. They came up empty in their first opportunity.
Had some good chances.
Well, you have to figure 11-12 to go in regulation. You really want to mark on this man advantage. Lowry is out on the draw. And he wins it back, and that time the defenseman Martin was pinched in, and it got by him. And here comes Vigier with speed. Backhander. Great save that time by Nagle, and then Saul finished off Vigier. That was a glorious shorthanded opportunity for the Cyclones. Kays dump it deep, look to chase. And it takes a funny bounce off the board, so Cincinnati just dumps it in deeply.
And this group's going to be burned on this power play. They're going to have to make a line change.
Took a funny hop behind the net as Nagle tried to set things up, but he was able to regain control. And now it's Soul leading the rush for the Komets. He dumps it in, tries to sachet past Hacker. David McDonald looks to clear out, kept in by Lowry. Lowry dumps it. It goes by the feet that time of Saul. Banked off the boards, and Cincinnati will be able to clear again as that time Lowry steps into his man. So Lowry and Combs. Lowry's ready to go, and Combs doesn't want anything to do with it. Now the Komets, though, they're worried about scoring a goal. As we reach the 10-minute mark of period 3. So the Komets looking to mark on this power play. Embach shoots it behind the net. Racing for the puck that time is Faille with the speed. Faille trying to dig it out. You have 3 Komets on the puck right now. And Cincinnati chips it back to the point. Szydlowski, little backhander, collected by Embach. Embach goes cross ice and brings it out of the zone.
Come on, guys, make the easy play, not the hard play.
30 seconds to go on the power play for the Komets. Now it comes ahead to Severin. Severin has some space. Severin now leaves. Faille has it. Now Faille
can't get through anything with it.
Shoots it into the feet of Pecan. Pecan gets the puck and fires at the length of the rink, and now down to the final 10. 9:20 to go in period number 3. Szydlowski, who's been out for a long shift, comes across to Tam. Tam looks to center it in front. Too strong for Szydlowski. And the power play is over.
And really never got started.
Now Szydlowski still has the puck. He has to go for a line change pretty soon. He has been out there for a long, long time. And now he and Faille will come off the ice. Under 9 minutes to go in the third, it's 3-1 in favor of Cincinnati. Intercepted briefly by Schrock, but a lot of traffic at neutral ice right now. Irwin high off the glass. And again, even the Cyclones are having trouble getting it deep right now.
It's like 10 guys between the blue lines.
Here comes Tam. Tam flips it over the net. But tell you what, Cincinnati's been making a point of teeing off on Michael Tam. There's a shot that is deflected away by the blocker of Medor. And we have another stop in the action here at US Bank Arena in Cincinnati. 8:27 to go in the third period.
And now, back to My Komets Hockey on My TV Fort Wayne. Presented by Parkview Sports Medicine.
Along with our producer, Alex Mayer back in Fort Wayne, Ken Horman, Blake Sebring here at US Bank Arena in Cincinnati. The Komets need some instant offense as they trail 3-1. And we are approaching 8:16 to go in the third period.
Got to give Cincinnati credit. They've done a masterful job defensively of slowing down the Komets' speed, which was big early, and it hasn't been since.
And again, Cincinnati playing with a lot of desperation. They had to rally to beat an Evansville team that has struggled all year last night to pick up a valuable 2 points, and these are 2 huge points for the Cyclones tonight as far as their playoff hopes.
Well, and you can tell they're not even crossing the red line to forecheck. I mean, they're just staying back 5 guys defensively, and they're daring you to come through.
Well, and speaking of coming through, Embach will try to do just that. Leaves for Szydlowski. One-timer to Faille, and that's just a little bit wide. Embach tries to center. That winds up in no man's land and all the way in the Komet zone. Nagle will have to play. Fires it way ahead. Szydlowski, Komet's looking for a little bit of a break. Comes across to Perlini. Perlini with a shot right on and blocked away that time by Medor. Medor has had a great night. Now spinning away with the puck is Basaraba, who's been the star of the game for the Cyclones with a pair of goals. Coming right through the slot. Cincinnati looking for more. And that time Martin able to pull the puck away that time from Hodges. Cross ice it comes. Weegar dumps it along the half wall. Now Sol. Again, Cincinnati digs the puck away. Perlini tries to run his man off the play. Cincinnati keeps it in. There's a shot right on and blocked that time by Nagle as Mackenzie Weegar put the shot on goal, and it got all the way through a maze of players. And we have another break in the action from Cincinnati. 6:44 to go in the third period. The Cyclones lead 3-1. You're watching
My Komets Hockey on My TV Fort Wayne. Presented by Parkview Sports Medicine.
Now back to the action, and again the Cyclones are just trying to keep pucks deep right now against the Komets. Lacoste tries to break out for Fort Wayne, steers it with one hand, then moves it ahead to Schrock on the off wing. Schrock is bumped heavily that time by McFadden. Cincinnati's not been bashful about playing the body. Tam shot sails wide. Come across again, and they've done a good job in front of just clogging up traffic like that, poking away passes and shots.
5 guys below the dots.
Sent in by Tam. Tam bumped off by Jack Downing. 2 weeks ago he had the hat trick against the Komets. Now Cincinnati will just hang on to the puck, trying to take time off the clock as Combs comes cross ice. Cincinnati just trying to keep it deep. Graysell, who has a goal in this game, sends it back to the point. Wysopal with a shot right on in the glove that time of Nagle. And Vigier sends one of the Komets to the ice, and the Komets, I think a little frustration will start boiling over, and then they'll start sending messages. And Vigier with kind of a late shot to Kaylee Schrock, and Schrock won't take that.
I think Schrocky was trying to draw one there.
Notre Dame 31, Kentucky 31.
So we're down to 5:43 to go in period number 3, and they're giving Michael Tam a penalty. It looks like coincidental minors. It'll be Tam and Vigier.
Smart. Not a bad call.
Nope. Now it's just to retain control. That comes at the 14-17 mark. And again, I guess you could say by hockey standards, one of those relatively honest games.
Yeah.
The teams just playing each other straight up. We'll see if indeed they call roughing on both Vijay and Tam. Again at 14-17, off the face-off. Leach to Daniels, and then sprinting up the middle is Embach. Embach comes across, intended for Faille. It's a little sharp, but Faille race in with that great speed. Body his man, Tacker off the play. Has his pocket picked by Wysopal. Shot right on, save. So Tam gets a cross check, and Vijay gets a roughing. Now the Komets are trying to put pucks on the net, but there's that guy named Rob Medor who has always been in the way.
And the forwards have done a really good job this period of staying out high on the defensemen so they don't have an open lane to shoot.
And time is now really becoming a factor as we are just over 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes and 11 seconds. The Komets have a potent offense, so there's no reason they can't pop a couple here in the final 5. Szydlowski takes the puck right off of his man's stick, but has it poked away that time by Hodges. Now Szydlowski digging behind the net, but breaking out is Mackenzie Weegar. Weegar's had a strong defensive game, and he's a relative newcomer to this hockey club. Perlini tries to put some pressure on. Ahead it goes to Basaraba. Basaraba tries to take it away from Saul, nothing doing there. Perlini. And ahead it goes to Martin. Martin will lead the rush. The all-star defenseman for the Komets now cycles behind the net. Banned on the pass he was looking for in the slot. Szydlowski right in front. Dancer shoots. He scores! Woo! Sean Szydlowski at his best. What a play, and it's a brand new hockey game. Szydlowski
took the feed from Martin.
It comes at 15:27, and now it's 3-2. Well, Szydlowski just showed his immense talent there with the stick.
That wrist shot went from about 0 to 90 in half a second.
Szydlowski, his 34th of the season. This from a guy who scored 11 last year. So now it's a brand new hockey game, 3-2 in favor of the Cyclones. 4.5 minutes to go. Teams are still skating even at 4-on-4. Now Leach circles, tries to shed his defender, tries to spin away from Pecan. Now leaves for Daniels, and it's in no man's land. So coming back and gathering the puck, here's Faille. Faille with speed, stops, spins. Bumped off the play, still has the puck, tried to set it up for Leach for the one-timer, now to Faille. Faille trying to create some space, looks to center, there's Embach. Embach shoots, scores!
Oh my goodness.
What a shot by Embach, and again, he does come back to bite the hand that once fed him. And just as we were talking about, the Komets had the offense to pop a couple in a short period of time. It comes at 15:59, and the money line has been money.
How about the setup by Faille? That was pretty.
So the Komets, 2 goals in 32 seconds. Brand new hockey game. Embach, his 23rd of the season.
I believe Faille and Leach will get the assist.
So now 4 minutes plus 1 to go in regulation. Brand new hockey game.
As frustrated as Mike Embach had to be in this game, he's had the best chances of anybody on either team, and he finally gets to bury one.
Well, there was a brief discussion along the benches and with the officials. It's still 4-on-4.
Now Cincinnati's going to call a timeout.
And that is exactly what has happened.
I think would really favor the Komets.
So it's Faille and Embach, along with Leach and Daniels. Basaraba is out. He'll take the face-off against Faille. So a 5-minute overtime, so let's see if somebody ends it in regulation, or will we move on to a shootout? Goes back to Wysopal. Wysopal just takes a long look. And dumps it ahead. Downing with the shot, and that's blockered aside, that time by Nagle. Leach steps into his man with authority. They still battle for the puck along the boards. Now that, as Faille tried to shoot the puck out, it caromed off a skate and just slithered right across the slot. Now here the Komets have a chance to break out with some speed. That passes behind Daniels, who was breaking from his defensive spot. Basaraba too strong for Wysopal. Faille bumps Wysopal off the play, now Downing, and ahead it comes. Tacker, the defenseman, stepping into the play. Comes around behind the net, looks to set it up high as Weegar was taking a look. Downing, it's a shot that was a little crafty, and that had to be blocked aside on the short side by Nagle.
Another big advantage the Komets have in overtime when you go 4-on-4 is your offensive defensemen like Daniels and Martin and sometimes Leach really have a chance to move and operate. And not many teams have that kind of quality offensive skill on the blue line.
And again, now this time they come back to the point. There's a shot right on and blocked that time. A low shot by Garrett Noonan that Nagle had to be ready for. And they're going to call an icing on the Komets. Soul thought he got a stick on that puck. Now Soul is going to dust Noonan. And I think they're going to give Soul a penalty. We shall see. No, it doesn't look like they are, and I'll tell you what, that's good officiating by Stéphane Renaud. He doesn't want to decide the game, he wants the players to. And I think that was Irwin with whom Soul was jousting, and they weren't talking about dinner plans after this overtime. Now Martin controls, spins around, and loses control of the puck. It comes up high. There's a big drive. That goes wide. That time Weegar was bidding for a game winner. Perlini looks to break out. Szydlowski tries to tip it ahead, but a little too strong. Down to 3:20 in the OT. Ahead it comes to Heward. Heward cruising up top. Tries to serve it right through the slot. A couple of Cyclones behind the net. Comes back to Weegar. Patted down that time by the glove of Irwin, and goes into the feet of Michael Tam. But Tam has all sorts of space right now as the Cyclones are going for a change. Comes across to Lacasse. Now both teams now are just being very, very methodical. Szydlowski goes across. A shot that's right on, and Medora has to smother it as the rebound came out. A sneaky little shot that time by Michael Tam. Just over 2.5 minutes to go in the overtime. We are tied at 3. Blake Sebring, Kent Horman. Basaraba gave the Cyclones a 1-0 lead after 1. Faille tied it in period 2. Gracel gave Cincinnati a 2-1 lead after 2. Cincinnati took a 3-1 lead. Basaraba's second goal of the night, then Szydlowski and Embach goals 32 seconds apart in the third period. That's why we're in the overtime.
Face-off win by Lowry.
Komets looking for the breakout. Modest pressure being applied in front of the net by Downing. That pass winds up in the skates of C.J. Severin, poked out of there by Tam. Tam looking to lead a breakout, but now it goes back. Here comes Severin. Severin weaving around, has some space. Severin through the slot, the shot, and that caromed off a Cyclone and wound up in the cage. Boy, that was a good cut through right through the slot by C.J. Severin, but again, a lot of Cyclone traffic prevented that shot from getting through.
And Lowry kind of took the defenseman with him to kind of open him up a little bit.
.208 to go in the overtime.
All right, big win by Risk.
Daniel stepped How out there.
And what they're going to try to do, what they usually try to do, is they try to overload the zone on the one side so they can pull 3 guys from Cincinnati over to the one side, setting up somebody high up on the other side to set them up for a one-timer. Usually that will be Szydlowski. They'll try to set it up so that he's got a one-timer from the clear view from the one side if they can get Cincinnati to overload the zone.
Well, let's see if the Komets can complete the comeback. Embach is out with Faille. Martin, well, you've got the money line out there because Szydlowski is basically playing the point. It comes back. Szydlowski comes across to Martin. Martin setting it up.
Right there it is. That's what they're trying to set up.
Now Martin, as Cincinnati is playing the diamond as far as the defense, they come up high to Szydlowski. Komets are looking for that shot in the open lane. One-timer by Szydlowski. A big save that time by Mador. Good low shot. They were trying to set Faille up for a tip. Now cruising is Martin. Martin comes over to Embach. Embach takes a look, comes across, score, and the Komets win it in overtime. What a play! Fantastic play, Embach to Szydlowski.
And again, they had the zone overloaded. All 3 Cincinnati guys were on the one side, and that set it up.
His 35th. Embach, an assist. And it comes at the 4:05 mark of overtime. And the Komets come back from a 3-1 deficit to defeat the Cincinnati Cyclones by the final score of 4-3 in overtime. Score, and the Komets win it in overtime. What a play! Fantastic play, Embach to Szydlowski.